After Metal Gear Solid blew everyone's minds with its cinematic storytelling and stealth action gameplay, and its sequel played with expectations to deliver a mind-bending experience, the third game in the series went back to explore the Phantom who's been haunting the narrative this whole time. Snake Eater avoids the usual prequel conventions, and instead of telling a story that ties directly into the events we know, instead gives us a narrative that mostly has nothing to do with the previous games. In being unbeholden in this manner, the game can flourish in its different settings and characters. Snake Eater lies in contention with the first Metal Gear Solid as most people's favorites. This is admittedly my least favorite of the first three, the first two games being some of my favorites of all time. This is still of course an amazing experience that gets better every time I play. Instead of stealthing around some facility, we're surviving the harsh jungle. This immediately marks quite a difference as the scale is widened, and with the new camera angle introduced in the subsistence version, it makes for an incredibly immersive experience. This game is such a journey, a survival journey, as you need to hunt and eat and tend to your wounds, and blend in with camouflage. Some of these mechanics are cool, like the amount of animals in the environment. The world feels alive. The camo index is awesome, however the stamina bar and needing to eat is more of an annoyance than anything. And with the amount of animals everywhere, it's not like you're pressed for food. Having to pick at your wounds every time you get hurt also breaks the flow of the game and becomes quite repetitive. I'd much rather just have rations. Another small complaint I have is that the game has a very dull brown and green color palette that's not the nicest to look at. It's definitely not as bad as 4's gray look, but still, compare this to HD2 and I'd say that looks way better visually. Instead of a more focused environment that you go back and forth and around in, the level design here is quite linear as you're just going from place to place, which I definitely like less. Still, the moment-to-moment gameplay, stalking through shrubbery, or walking in disguise in an interior is unparalleled. Then you also get some all-time boss fights and set pieces. Story-wise, we have a James Bond-esque spy narrative set during the Cold War. We follow Naked Snake, a lot of people's favorite MGS character, although honestly, he doesn't do a lot for me in this game. I like his characterization way more in Peace Walker. Still, I love the immediate difference you see in him whenever he has an interaction with Ava or the boss. His more reserved nature reveals itself, a stark difference from Solid Snake. The new crew is very fun, or at least Paramedic and Sigget are. Zero is such a nothing character, it's baffling Kojima decided to make him such a major piece of the lore in 4. The codec prioritizes fun interactions instead of the dramatic story, which I definitely miss from the first two. Some of the best and most impactful moments in those games came from the codec interactions. The codec visual layout in this one is also very boring in comparison, but makes sense given the time period. Eva is interesting, I guess. And the villains are the main standout here. Well, the main villains, and I honestly think the Cobras themselves are overhyped. Like the Pain and the Fear are such nothing burgers with lame boss fights, let's be real. The Fury is cool enough and almost has an interesting story, but is still underdeveloped. The End and the Sorrow are awesome though. Ocelot is one of the best parts of this game, seeing how different he is here and how Snake starts to shape Ocelot into who we know and love. Their relationship is fun to see develop. Volgin is a villain that's just plain evil and sadistic, making him a hateable foe that you just want to destroy. Then there's the boss, the series' most intriguing character, whose actions and motivations are the real Phantom haunting the series, catapulting all the events into place. All these elements come together incredibly well, making for quite the iconic video game story, who a lot claim to be the best in the series, but again I think 1 and 2 hit better for me. Also, this is the OG version just cause I haven't played the remake, because it's so one-to-one, which is awesome and more remakes need to be like that, but I don't want to pay full price for pretty much the same game. This is coming from the girl who bought The Last of Us remake day one and would absolutely do the same for an MGS1 remake. Anyways, let's get into it. We begin with this iconic opening. I love this atmosphere, getting us ready for some tactical espionage infiltration. The amount of aura exuded from Snake here is unparalleled. It's fun getting to see Zero and Paramedic here, knowing we won't see them again until the end of the game.
This is one for the history books. The world's first Halo jump. Spread your wings and fly. God be with you.
Then we get some 30-minute exposition dump. Now I love story context and cutscenes, but this is done in such an uninteresting way. It's so monotone and the visual filters over the footage is so ugly looking. Pretty sure they fixed this in the remake though, so that's cool. We take way too long just to convey that we need to extract this scientist guy, Sokolov.
Your codename for this mission will be Naked Snake. I'll be referring to you as Snake from now on. You're not to mention your real name.
Snake?
Oh, you don't like snakes?
What do you mean?
You've eaten one before, haven't you?
In survival training.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know if I'd ever order one in a restaurant.
Already we established the charming character dynamics this game has. Naked Snake is much more peculiar than Solid. And now we have the boss, who immediately spouts out some philosophical monologue about the role of a soldier and how ultimately dehumanizing it is to have the sole purpose of following orders.
A soldier is a political tool, nothing more. Right and wrong have no place in his mission. He has no enemies and no friends. Only the mission. You follow the orders you're given. That's what being a soldier is. People's values change over time, and so do the leaders of a country. So there's no such thing as an enemy in absolute terms. The enemies we fight are only enemies in relative terms, constantly changing with the times. As long as we have loyalty to the end, there's no point in believing in anything, even in those we love.
Yo, boss, are you good? Are you okay?
Commencing virtuous mission now.
Hell yeah, each character on Codec has their own purpose. Zero just tells you what to do, Paramedic talks survival skills, food, and movies every time you save. She's so chill. And Boss talks CQC and item descriptions, later replaced by Sigget.
Olive drab, or OD for short.
OD? No, nothing like sniping fools with the silenced pistol. Coming to this abandoned facility, we find Sokolov, some goofy dude. Why is he hitting the Kamehameha? And then in comes the man. Ocelot. Just Ocelot for now.
That's Major Ocelot to you. And don't you forget it.
Love seeing Ocelot take down fools with such precision. What the fuck? Snake absolutely owning this man is an all-time scene, giving him direct inspiration to go Revolver.
Pretty good.
Yo, top 10 anime betrayals right here. You can just barely tell how it's weighing on her to have to betray Snake like this. Seeing the Cobras all together like this is really cool. In the past we had Psycho Mantis, Vamp, and Fortune before, but having a full squad of overtly supernatural powered villains, including Volgan, is sick.
Sounds like the Cobra unit's members' names came from the specific emotions they each carry into battle.
Emotions?
Yeah. For unbearable torment, the pain. For true oblivion, the end. For infinite rage, the fury. For absolute terror, the fear. And for unsurpassed bliss, the joy.
The joy?
It's another name for the boss. Because of the joy she feels in battle, I suppose. During the war, she had a partner named the Sorrow. Sorrow and joy. They say there couldn't have been a more perfect pair.
I also love how bizarre the first appearance of the Sorrow is as well, and shout out to the remake for actually having it rain blood. The boss is not fucking around here, she completely destroys Snake here. This is so somber here, pretty much the most vulnerable the boss appears the whole game. There's no turning back for her. I love how many scenes there are where we cut into the villains all grouped up. That's something I wish there was a lot more of in the other games. In the first game, there's only like 2 scenes where 2 or more of Foxhound members are grouped together. These scenes carry even more weight on a repeat playthrough, knowing literally everyone in the scenes are a double agent except Volgan. Then Vulcan fires a whole nuke. What the heck? Snake should absolutely be dead here, but okay. what else is there to say about this intro that hasn't been said already? Absolutely mesmerizing song and animations, going full James Bond here. Every game should have a fancy opening credits. If a game has an intro like this, you know it's gonna be a good time.
But you're so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. Someday you go through the rain, and someday you'll feed on a tree frog. It's ordeal, the trial to survive. For the day we see new light, I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
Here we go. Operation Snake Eater is a go. Then we get some 5-minute phone call with Johnson and Khrushchev. Why the hell do we need this? This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, where some of this game's exposition is just way too much, bogging the game down. Immediately, Snake runs into the boss and she beats his ass again. There's a lot of setup for their final confrontation here. She straight up tells us that she didn't defect, and then posits if Snake can let go of his emotions for the sake of the mission. That line there is so iconic.
What's it going to be? Loyalty to your country or loyalty to me? Your country or your old mentor? The mission or your beliefs? Your duty to your unit or your personal feelings? Just look at that bandana. If you can't put the past behind you, you won't survive long.
Now we meet Eva, who we think is one of the people we're supposed to meet. Immediately we establish that she uses her assets here to her advantage, and this is particularly effective on Snake, making him super uncomfortable. Then Snake goes on a whole tism.
The feeding ramp is polished to a mirror sheen. The slide's been reinforced, and the interlock with the frame is tightened for added precision. The sight system is original too. The thumb safety is extended to make it easier on the finger. A long type trigger with non-slip grooves. A ring hammer. The base of the trigger guard's been filed down for a higher grip. And not only that, nearly every part of this gun has been expertly crafted and customized.
Then the Ocelot unit busts into the compound and Snake has to take them down with precision. Stealth in these games never gets old. A big difference of this game from the last two is no Soliton radar system, although there are some less effective battery-powered alternatives. When it comes to stealth, I actually love not having a visual indicator of enemies. For example, in The Last of Us, I never used listen mode ever. I love really having to lock in and immerse myself into the experience, using all my senses to detect the enemy. Once again, Ocelot reveals himself, and once again, Snake makes a fool of him.
It's a nice gun, I'll give you that. But the engraving gives you no tactical advantage whatsoever. Unless you were planning to auction it off as a collector's item.
This is a great codec call with Eva here. It's very insightful, and I wish there were more interesting codec calls with her like this. Now we get a mad dash through the swamps and the woods, avoiding crocs, traps, and dogs. Moving right along into the first fight against Ocelot. This is a fairly simple one, like a tutorial boss, reminiscent of the Olga fight at the start of 2, only more expanded. Then the Pain's Hornets randomly appear and wash us away. Then there's this whole cave section, which serves as a break in the action, but I could do without it, honestly. Now comes the Pain, a lame villain with a pretty easy boss fight. Not to mention here, like I said, the Cobras aren't all that in my opinion. There's these weird hover carriers that's just random.
Snake, have you ever seen On the Beach?
Yo, Death Stranding 2? No. Now for one of the best scenes. Again, the villain cutaways are all so engrossing. We see how brutal and sadistic Volgan is. How much shit Eva has to put up with in order to maintain her cover is just so messed up. We also see how unhinged Ocelot is and how much authority the boss carries. The Fear is dispatched to take care of Snake, and as for the end, he's left out in the open. Easy pickings, boys. With him down, that makes for the Fear, the Fury, the Sorrow, and the Joy remaining. This is a really cool part. Following up from MGS2's infiltration, we've gone from posing as an enemy soldier to passing as a scientist. Just walking around in a disguise like this is quite exciting, and is very James Bond. Snake meets Granin, who goes on a whole spiel about his advanced weapons development, one of them being
a kind of Metal Gear, if you will.
The other main one is the Shagohod, some Omega tank that's basically a Metal Gear but less mobile and less cool. Now backtracking from whence we came, we get ambushed by the Fear, the lamest of the Cobras. Though this fight is fairly fun and engaging, you gotta spot him blending in and blast him while avoiding traps. Then we have to cross the forest while the Ocelot unit patrols, and then anyways we come to this ladder. The ladder. Alright, I was joking. Let's do it. So this is one of the best boss fights in the series. It's straight up one of the best boss fights in all of video games. A straight up cat and mouse game. Hunter versus hunter. A duel of patience. You gotta lock in and hone all of the skill you've gathered throughout your experience. Immersing yourself into the environment to find the end before he finds you. As much patience as you have to have, you can't waste too much time, as when his stamina bar depletes, he will rejuvenate his health, which amps the tension. I wish actually that there were no food sources at all in this environment, and that your stamina would also serve as this anxiety-inducing ticking clock, only having your reserve food at your disposal. But again, all that is never a worry. There's so much cool detail in this fight. You can use your sensors, but he can hear them if you're too close. You can listen out for him with the microphone. He can be caught sleeping. You can fully sneak up on him. From behind, holding him up, he even gives you a new outfit. You can actually also play super aggressive and gun him down on the run. This is so much fun and such a treat to experience on every playthrough. And unlike the other Cobras we fought to this point, the End is such an interesting character, just an old man who's at death's door, looking for one final battle. His supernatural ability and connection to the Force is very fascinating as well, especially with how it ties to some stuff in Phantom Pain. Then we come to this ladder. The ladder. This scene of insanity that's played with a straight face is pure Kojima charm. We gotta get up to the mountains and we're gonna have to sit through this climb here. The mountains are quite a change of pace, draining our stamina. There's a lot less cover too, we just gotta hunker down. I love this section, scaling this height while helicopters whiz past. Ducking in and out of tunnels, crawling through the trenches, this is so intense. Snake meets with Eva and stares at her scars. And makes a good observation here.
Where'd you get this one?
I got it after defecting to the Soviet Union.
I don't think so. It's older than that. Code breaking is a desk job. Where'd you get this kind of scar?
You really want to know? Well, too bad.
Eva briefs us on Groznygrad. The plan is to disguise ourselves as Rykov, one of Volgan's, friends. We get more insight into Snake's feelings towards the boss.
I've never been interested in other people's lives.
You were interested in the boss.
She was different.
Really? How do you feel about me?
Then this happens. It's interesting, Snake's lack of response to this. He obviously does like her, but he can't let his guard down. At least, not until the mission is through. Back to the villains, things are getting pretty dark as Volgan tortures Granin to death. Sheesh! He starts to get suspicious of a mole, as then he is surrounded by 3 different moles. Ocelot himself suspicious of Eva. Boss knowing all. Yo, screw these flamethrower guys. They are freaking me out. Speaking of which, this is actually a really fun boss fight. Another cat and mouse on a smaller, more fast-paced scale. It can be pretty challenging to get line of sight on him without him seeing you. His death is kinda sad, like he goes senile.
I can see it. Mission Control, do you read me? I'm coming home. I see the Earth.
Wonder if this fire spirit has anything to do with Volgan's resurgence in Phantom Pain. We made it to Groznygrad. I love the snowfall coming in as well as the nightfall. It's giving Shadow Moses vibes for sure. It's quite the challenge to maneuver around here undetected, especially indoors. Wish the indoors were more substantial and fleshed out in this game. After 2, the series focused way more on exterior outdoors locations. It's not pretty, but we finally managed to secure Rykov. Unfortunately, Volgan knows him all too well. What results is absolutely brutal to watch. This is the best scene in the game, and one of the darkest, grittiest moments in the series. You feel every hit here. Volgan is so dumb, I swear.
Philosopher's legacy is safely in my possession, in the underground vault of Groznygrad.
Love that look between Eva and boss. Then this test for the boss here. The way she says,
"What do you want me to do?"
so resigned, like she's already committed to doing whatever it is already, and knows it won't be pretty. This here is a testament to Eva's true feelings for Snake, stepping in at the risk of her cover being blown. You know Snake is gonna lose his eye. At this point you might have even forgotten about it until it gets brought up here. Now knowing that this is happening now, any second, the tension is at an all-time high. All the characters bouncing off each other, everyone here after the legacy except for the one guy being actively suspected of it, all building to...
There. Satisfied now?
Well, that was refreshing.
Everyone immediately gets to work on Snake's escape. Boss gives him a gun, tells him to run, Eva gives him directions, Ocelot's ready for it, he planted a tracker. Even the Sorrow's given you the escape frequency, which if you miss, you can catch again through the Johnny scene. Love how genuine this exchange feels between them.
Why do we have a Cold War anyway? Our 2 countries used to be such good friends.
Yeah, I hear ya.
I just want to see my family again.
Snake escapes into the tunnels, hunted by Ocelot and his guys. Snake knows that you can't fight human nature, and you can't fight gravity, and descends. Enter one of the most iconic scenes in this game, the Sorrow, a sequence that's only as hard as you inadvertently make it. He throws at you every person you've killed in the game, literally making you face your actions and the lives you've taken. If you're a pro like me though, only the Cobras will appear here. When you make it through, you still die, but can now use the handy dandy revival pill to come back to life. We rendezvous with Eva in a cave and get the tracker out. Yeah, that's what we do.
Pretty good at that.
Yeah, everybody tells me that.
Ah shit, here we go again, all the way back at Groznygrad. Aw, look at Snake all kitted out with the eye patch. It's all coming together. This is actually one of my favorite stealth segments here, sneaking around, planting the C3 in the Shagohod hangar. For the millionth time, Boss kicks Snake's ass. Then Vulcan explains what the Philosopher's legacy is. Just a giant pool of money, really. Alright, now we fight Vulcan, a tough fight. You really have to get the right moment to strike him after he attacks. Ocelot helps you out also because he's tired of Vulcan undermining him. Now it's Uncharted time. This is such a crazy action set piece, far different than anything we've gotten in the series thus far. Vulcan is an absolute maniac, chasing us down in the Shagohod. Now we gotta take him head on. This fight is a little weak, I think. I mean, all of the Metal Gear fights are just you running around, hitting it with rockets, but this one just lacks the intensity of the others or something. I don't know. But it's finally over. Except it's not, and the high-stakes action continues. This is insane. All these guys coming out of the woodwork. They're very motivated to catch us, I'll give them that. We crash, and this sequence here is way too intense. Who the fuck are these guys? Some elite squadron right here? Spec Ops. Eva is hurt bad and can't move fast, so you gotta keep a low profile while these guys are hunting us through the forest. It's kinda scary having to hide from them. We feel more vulnerable than we've ever been, now that we've got more to worry about than just ourselves. The difference between this and escorting Emma and MGS2 is night and day. I wish they did this in Phantom Pain during a quiet exit, but for once in that game they opt to do more in a cutscene instead. After making it through, we can't leave just yet. Snake has a mission to complete. The transition to this stage is so sudden and jarring. Some explosion goes off and is suddenly completely ignored. As we later learn, this was the boss destroying Groznygrad with the Davy Crockett.
Life's end. Isn't it beautiful? It's almost tragic. When life ends, it gives off a final lingering aroma. Light is but a farewell gift from the darkness to those on their way to die.
The juxtaposition of this intimidating boss fight against our former mentor amidst a peaceful field of flowers is haunting. This has to be the most iconic sequence in the series. Every line from the boss carrying so much meaning and emotional weight. The importance of this moment haunting the narrative from here on out. The motivations of our villains, our heroes, being that to carry on the boss's will. It's a sentiment that gets repeated so much throughout the series and is interpreted in different ways by many different characters. But what is actually the boss's will? Throughout this scene, the boss explains her slow disillusionment of being a soldier. She explains how allies and enemies change with the times, and that the reasons for war are ultimately meaningless. How she was sent to space and saw the beauty of the planet. How she was made to kill the sorrow, and how her child was taken from her. Ultimately, the boss's will is quite simple. Peace. World peace. And unfortunately, the reason why no one could realize this goal is because it's impossible. As long as there are humans, there will always be war. Deep down, the boss probably knows this, and that's why she's so ready for her end. And so we fight, in what is hands down the best boss fight in the series. The beautiful environment, how outclassed we are in a head-to-head confrontation against her, how many ways we can approach this, the pure tension as you are struggling to see her as she blends into the flowers with her white outfit. The intensity when she spots you and has to run, the pure desperation as there's a time limit, and the absolute cinema as Snake Eater plays in the background, building up to a climactic ending. There is no joy in this final kill. It's sad, but beautiful. Up to this point, the Joy was the only Cobra not to showcase any supernatural connection. Until now, that is, as the flowers changing signify her spirit moving on. To lighten the mood, we get this goofy-ass encounter with Ocelot. Their bond is so genuine, a silent understanding of the respect they have for each other as soldiers. Buying Snake a loyal companion to the end. The nightmare is finally over. Why are they laughing like that? 'Cause they about to fuck.
I'm an agent of the People's Republic of China for the General HQ 2nd Department of the People's Liberation Army. It was all a lie. I tricked you. And I'm sorry.
There are no words that haven't already been said for this ending. The feelings of emptiness, sadness, anger, we feel exactly as Snake does. Betrayed, used, dehumanized.
The boss wouldn't be allowed to come back home alive. And she wouldn't be allowed to kill herself. Her life would be ended by her most beloved disciple. That was the way the government wanted it. That was the mission she was given. And she had no choice but to carry it out. Her death at your hands was a duty she had to fulfill. Out of duty, she turned her back on her own comrades. A lesser woman would have been crushed by such a burden. The taint of disgrace will follow her to her grave.
Even without the extra content and characterization given by Peace Walker and V, this is enough to set up Big Boss emotionally for the need to establish Outer Heaven, a nation of soldiers for soldiers. Not to be used as pawns for any one ideal or country, a nation that could by extension realize the boss's vision of world peace, the only way it can be realized, by force. And the only way to walk that path is through hell itself.
Snake. History will never know what she did. No one will ever learn the truth. Her story, her debriefing, will endure only in your heart. Everything she did for her country. She sacrificed her life and her honor for her native land. She was a real hero. She was a true patriot.
Best post-credits convo ensues as Ocelot reveals his position as a triple crosser, gaining the Philosopher's legacy to the CIA in the hands of Zero, who of course has his own path to world peace, that being control through the means of an artificial algorithm. And of course there's the Phantom within the CIA, Skullface, whose vision lies in a unified world of nuclear weapons, forcing everyone to comply with each other. But we'll deal with those later.
Of course. I'm always at the CIA's disposal, Mr. Director.
And that is Snake Eater, a unique step forward for the franchise, one that takes you on a ruthless journey that tests Snake both physically and emotionally, with characters that have two sides to them and a story that takes on even more meaning on a repeat playthrough. With added context from 4 and the subsequent prequels, this stands out as the most important game in the series narratively, as it's the catalyst for everything that comes after in so many ways. Not only does this title innovate story-wise, but also gameplay-wise, going for quantity over quality by creating linear levels, thus increasing variety, giving focus to new stealth mechanics and meticulous boss fights. After the previous 2 games were so contained, this one takes an expanded look at this world not only by creating a setting based on historical events, but also by sowing seeds for things to come, not only in games that had already been released, but also those upcoming. While this tone and new gameplay approach isn't as masterful to me as what the first 2 MGS games achieved, it's still masterful nonetheless and done in a fashion that can only be done by Kojima himself. As for how he would try and culminate everything he had built into a bloated, beautiful mess with 4, Well, that'll come later. But this has been Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, that serves not only as one of the best and uniquely done prequels in gaming, but one of the best prequels in all media.